Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining our introduction to Airport Concessions 101 Operational Basics. My name is Angela Costello. I'm the Senior Marketing Director of Unbail-Rodamco-Westfield, the lead commercial developer and manager for JFK T JFK T8 Partners. I'll be serving as the moderator for today's session. Today is one of many events we are hosting to bring you information about the concessions program at Terminal 8 and how you can participate in the redevelopment. Today's event is focused on business opportunities within concessions. If that does not pertain to your business, we will have many additional business and workforce opportunity sessions in the future, including construction and subcontracting. Make sure you sign up to receive news and opportunities at our community portal by visiting www.anewjfk.com and navigating over the Terminal 8 project page. Lastly, remember that we will have time at the end to answer your questions following the content, so please stick around for the Q&A. Before we dive in, we'd like to play a brief welcome video from our project partners.
Hello, I'm Rick Cotton, Executive Director of the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey. And on behalf of the Port Authority, welcome and thank you for joining us. The Port Authority is excited to be working with our private partners at American Airlines, at URW, at Phoenix Infrastructure Group, and at Holt Construction to deliver on the $125 million commercial development of the recently expanded Terminal 8 at JFK. This is an exciting and strategic priority for the Port Authority and for JFK Airport. Across JFK, the Port Authority is committed to ensuring that the benefits of these airport projects accrue to the community.
On behalf of American Airlines, we thank you for joining us today. My name is Sylvia Rodriguez, and I'm the Managing Director of JFK for American Airlines. Building on the recently completed $400 million expansion of Terminal 8, the $125 million commercial renovation will further enhance the customer experience. The dining and shopping will be a transformational experience representative of the vibrant New York region. None of this would be possible without the long-withstanding partnership with the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey, our Terminal 8 Partners team, and the local community to ensure a world-class travel journey for our customers and our One World partners at Terminal 8.
I'm Brad Tollefson. I'm the Senior Vice President of Development at Unbail-Rodamco-Westfield. We are the lead commercial developer for T8 Innovation Partners. We're honored to partner with American Airlines and the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey to help transform JFK into a 21st century airport and bring major benefits to New Yorkers and travelers from around the world. Alongside our partners, we're committed to ensuring Terminal 8 celebrates New York's incredible diversity and represents the best of New York with a spotlight on local, small, and minority-owned businesses. Across the development project and beyond, the connection to Queens and our local communities will be at the forefront of everything we do at Terminal 8. From design and construction to a variety of flexible opportunities within our concessions program, we are incredibly excited to support the Port Authority's vision of a JFK that proudly represents our local community while creating new opportunities for local firms to participate. We look forward to working with all of you on this world-class project.
Hi, my name is Jeremy M. Eby, and I'm the CEO and founder of the Phoenix Infrastructure Group. Phoenix is proud to be an equity member of the T8 Innovation Partners to help transform Terminal 8 into an incredible new gateway for New Yorkers and travelers around the globe. We're a part of this project because I truly believe that infrastructure projects should create value for the surrounding community. And that's exactly what we aim to do here at Terminal 8, to help advance minority and local small businesses' growth by connecting the community to opportunities across the development project and through long-term operations. I'm excited to engage with small businesses and entrepreneurs from Jamaica, Queens, as well as from across the city. Together, we will create an incredible new Terminal 8.
Great. Now I'd like to introduce our panelists for today's event. First, we have Ashley Harry, Leasing Director at Unbail-Rodamco-Westfield. Next, we have Emily Rubin, Director of Design at URW. as well as Jacqueline All, Operations Manager of JFK T8 for URW. Next, we have Quentin Bailey, Compliance Specialist at RF Wilkins Consultants, our diversity and compliance partner for this project. And finally, I'm pleased to introduce Diana Rose, Program Coordinator at the JFK Airport Institute of Concessions. Thank you, Diana, for joining us today. Now I'd like to turn it over to Ashley Harry.
Thanks, Angela. And thank you everybody who's joining this, whether this is your second or third time with us, or if today is your first kind of tune in. So we appreciate everybody being here. We hope you learned something from today, and we're looking forward to some Q&A towards the end of the session. So look, why airports, right? Why should I consider airports when I'm very successful on the street side? And so we kind of have a list of the top tiers of why airports make sense, right? High exposure. We know there's predictable traffic with the airlines. You have significant brand exposure, both with national, domestic passengers, as well as international. There's strong demographics, long-term growth. These are a couple of reasons why we love airports, and we hope you love airports as well. Next slide. And so JFK Terminal 8, we are super exciting, right? You've just heard from some of our partners about really the fundamentals and the commitment to the community. This is building on a $400 million expansion project that American Airlines completed in 2022. This is really where you'll see and feel a lot of the commercial offer change in the terminal. And so we're very excited to be leading that with New York City kind of inspired destinations at the forefront. Next slide. So Airport Concessions 101, look, this really holistically, this is the categories, the types of categories that we look at in airport. So you have your duty free, which is kind of tailored toward both international passengers from a duty free perspective. We also offer duty paid, which a lot of passengers are not aware of, but that would include, everything from liquor to beauty brands to confection and more. We have travel essentials, which help make everybody's lives much easier while kind of traveling through the airport. Food and beverage is one of my favorites. It's kind of comprehensive from QSR, which is quick service, grab and go, all the way through full service sit down. So lots of options in between. We have retail. So that would include things like tech, soft goods, accessories, things like that. And then the last category we generally see is service, so a different type of service provider. So what you see there is spas, salons, we have gaming, sometimes suites and sleep spaces. So those are things that we consider service. Next slide. And then when we're talking about the airport space, there are different types of business models that we see. So I'll kind of hit on the four most common. The biggest is the direct operator. So that means, you as the entrepreneur, the brand, or the operator is operating that brand directly. So, that would generally includes multiple spaces program, but really the important thing is you are the direct operator of the brand. The next thing is the JV partnership. So really that is kind of when two entities or individuals kind of come together to form an association for the purpose of operating a specific business in the airport. A brand is, what you see in the airport. The difference is sometimes airport brands are operated directly or through that brand, right? Or they're operated through an operating partner. Which is something a little bit different than street side. So Chick-fil-A, for example, doesn't typically operate their own stores in the airport space. They generally have partnerships or operating partners. And that kind of goes for many national brands that you see in the space. And then the end is the direct. So that is kind of owned, the brand owns and operates from more of a local or small scale level. They operate it all themselves. Next slide, please. So when it comes to, typical commercial terms, there's a lot of different ways that these things could go, but we did want to illustrate for the purpose of today's kind of operational concessions 101, some of the more common things that we see. So when we're talking like long-term lease agreements, you'll typically see things from 5 to 10 years across multiple categories, including food and beverage, service, retail, specialty retail. Generally, things like travel essentials and duty-free have a longer lease agreement or term, sometimes we call it. And there's a lot of reasons behind this, but a majority of the driving force behind this is that airports are expensive, right? They're expensive to operate in, they're expensive to build out. And so for businesses to for it to make sense financially for businesses, we do give historically longer terms in some of these categories. And then what you'll see kind of coming up forward and through subsequent outreach sessions that we will do for Terminal 8 is how we're going to minimize those kind of barriers to entry across the board. We'll offer shorter term kind of lease agreements for some of these spaces to give people the opportunity without that long-term commitment to really decide if airports are right for them and for their brand. Another difference between street side and airport side, or street side and air side is what we typically call it in the industry, is the rent structures are generally a little bit different. And so what you will see in the airport space is usually the greater of a minimum annual guarantee that's generally paid monthly, or so you either pay a MAG, is what we call it, or a tiered percent rent structure for sales above and beyond. And so what that does is kind of protect people on the downside and then share in the opportunities, the sales, productivity, kind of going on a sliding scale. There are generally other ancillary charges in airports. Some may apply to everybody, some may not, but just so everybody is aware, there's storage, utilities, common area maintenance, which we call CAM, that we will talk about a little bit later. There are marketing fees, ways that URW supports your business and the business within the airport. There could be property tax, there could be a badging, company badging application. So those are just some of the ancillary things that you could expect to see in the airport space. Next slide. Oh, thank you, Angela.
That's it. Thank you, Ashley. Now I'd like to hand it over to Emily Rubin to provide some insights on the store design and construction process.
Thank you, Angela. Hi, everyone. I'm Emily, and I'm the Director of Design for our East Coast Transit and Airport Concessions for URW, a global leader in airport retail and development. What if I told you that we have an opportunity to showcase your brand and product to millions of travelers every year? Well, I'm very excited to be sharing information surrounding the retail process, the retail build-out process, and merchandising to the local community to be a part of the redevelopment at Terminal 8. The purpose of this portion of the outreach is to inform our potential concessionaires on what it takes to design, build, and ultimately open and operate a successful shop at the terminal. You'll have the opportunity to express your brand in very collaborative and open ways to showcase your product offering. As you can see here, the slide shows some really creative examples of how URW helped achieve successful shop build-outs at LAX, of which we oversee the retail. There's a wide range of finishes and maximum brand expression. And in many cases, we can introduce local artisans to partner with our retailers to create murals, products, art pieces, and others to showcase and further community connections. Now, you may be wondering, where do we begin with the process and what it takes to open a shop at the airport? Building in an active and fully operational airport may bring up some challenges, but we will guide you through that entire process. We here at URW will be with you every step of the way. For starters, we can provide a list of local architects, vendors, general contractors, and fabricators in order to help execute a successful build-out. As you may be aware, building in an airport environment requires complying with strict regulations and standards set forth by the FSA, TSA, and the Port Authority. And it's important for your architect and general contractor to be familiar with the process of building in this type of environment. Next slide, please. So to build a successful shop in the airport, we start by providing the concessionaire with the tenant criteria guidelines. So what exactly are tenant criteria guidelines? Well, you can think of it as an instruction manual for detailing information about how to design, build, operate for both retail and food and beverage concessions in the airport. It is inspirational as well as being an important detailed resource for building a concession in the terminal as seamlessly and efficiently as possible, while maintaining a cohesive level of quality and cohesion throughout the terminal. The tenant criteria guidelines are also designed to help you with creating your shop according to your brand identity and vision. And these include building your shop according to the airport's environmental, safety, and operational standards, and operating your shop according to the airport's policies and procedures. So just as important are the retail design guidelines are the nuts and bolts of your build out, meaning to be able to relay all relevant information of the various building structures, systems, requirements, and restrictions necessary to design, construct, and operate each tenant space as seamlessly as possible. This is known as the technical criteria portion of the manual, and it will provide all the necessary information that depicts relevant base building systems, interface points, and the responsibility of various parties, including but not limited to mechanical, electrical, structural, and plumbing that may be needed in your space. So the construction and store build out. It's important to consider all of the important aspects of building your shop in an airport terminal. Some important items to note are the cost, safety, implementation of union labor, and ability to keep a firm schedule for your opening. We at URW are committed to creating a collaborative environment for retailers, clients, stakeholders, communities, and the planet. And we value those who are passionate about design, excellence, innovation, integrity, inclusivity, and collaboration. And equally as important is our vision to sustainability, of course, of which we will be able to guide you through our guidelines to create ethical and sustainable retail environments. We look forward to developing and delivering a positive concession experience with you. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Emily. Now I'll hand it over to Jacqueline All to give us an inside look at how concessions are operated within the airport space.
Hi guys, my name is Jacqueline All. I'm the operations manager for URW here in Terminal 8. I work hand in hand with our operations and want to provide some insight on our daily operations of our concessionaires. First, we're going to talk about hours of operation. As a concessionaire, you're required to operate 365 days a year as people travel daily, including holidays. Our operators are open 15 to 17 hours a day, but it does vary by concession type and terminal flight schedules. As you will find, early morning flights and late evening flights, it is important to have options for our passengers for an early morning coffee or a late night snack before or after one's flight. On the other hand, which we consider as irregular operations, there is a chance for flight delays where operators are required to stay open later than normal to accommodate flight disruptions. Next, we're going to talk about merchandise delivery and storage. Operating in an airport is unique compared to operating a business on the street. When we focus on merchandise delivery and storage, we must abide by Port Authority and TSA regulations. Loading dock hours are limited from 4:30 a.m. to 1 p.m., and during these times, all deliveries must be accepted by an authorized team member. Additionally, all deliveries are subject to random audits by both TSA and Port Authority. Lastly, storage may be limited. However, no products should be staged on the floor for stocking purposes. This will obstruct the passenger's walkway. Now we're going to talk about pricing. We are proud to be committed to a value-driven program that enhances customer satisfaction when it comes to pricing. Throughout the airport, products must be sold at a price point comparable to what you would find in your local store, which is known as street pricing. For example, a bottle of water costs $2 at your local store, and all our concessions offer a $2 bottle of water as well. Not many people know this. This is part of Port Authority's We Value initiative, where concessionaires are encouraged to offer these great deals for all passengers. On a continued basis, we perform regular pricing audits to ensure concessionaires are staying compliant. Finally, one benefit for all employees is that all operators must offer airport employee discounts. Now we're going to talk about staffing your location. When it comes to staffing your location, there are many resources available between URW, the Port Authority, and the community organizations. A few things to know in advance. Once a lease agreement is signed, concessions apply for the Port Authority approval. Then you designate an issuing officer to manage the whole badging process. As we all know, security is always at a heightened level at the airport, and we must always abide by TSA and Port Authority rules. The hiring of employees will include complete security screening and training, plus security badges must be worn at all times. As mentioned, we can provide support to promote opportunities to the local community for all hiring. Some other things to keep in mind are that concession operators typically offer employees paid, subsidized parking or transportation options. Also, the Port Authority requirements mandate a minimum wage of $19 an hour for all hourly employees. We all know that there is a lot of buzz in the community about these upcoming employment opportunities, and we are excited to work with you to find employees. Lastly, we're going to talk about marketing and sales driving initiatives. A benefit to working with us in the airport space is that through our own marketing channels, we'll provide physical, digital, and social marketing campaigns to drive awareness and sales to your location. We want to see you succeed in the airport. In addition, each employee will be trained as part of our Accept the Exceptional customer service training and coaching for employees. We also offer special employee communications through My T8 campaign. The program includes texts about employee deals, a newsletter, appreciation events, and much more. We have so many exciting things going on as we redevelop the terminal. One of my favorite things is connecting with employees and operators. We are here to help and make T8 the best it can be.
Thanks so much, Jacqueline. Now I'm going to turn it over to Quentin Bailey from RFW Consultants to provide a look at the resources and certifications available for businesses interested in exploring the airport space.
Thanks, Angela. American Airlines and URW provide small businesses with a diverse number of options for entry. There we go. American Airlines and URW provides small businesses with a diverse number of options for entry points into the commercial program at T8. If you've been with us before, you've seen this diagram. I like it because from product placement on the left all the way through to direct operators on the right, there are opportunities that are appropriate for a variety of small businesses with varied cost of entry for small businesses with varied capacity. Ashley's talked a little bit about some of these, but just a word on each: product placement for those companies with products to market. URW acts as a connector between your product and retailers that are already in the terminals. Some products may be appropriate for automated vending, those creative vending machines that you see as you move through the terminal. Automated retail is an opportunity for URW to connect you with their vending partners already in the terminal. Through the virtual food brands, food vendors will be able to offer a taste of local restaurants through an innovative ordering platform available to travelers as they move through the terminal. Terminal 8 also features a food hall, and food hall partners provide a variety of food concepts at the terminal. We're excited about the LBE Accelerator program, whether it's a kiosk opportunity or an in-store opportunity. The program offers turnkey opportunities for vendors, for retail vendors, through training and support throughout the program. And then, as Ashley has talked about, there are also opportunities for joint ventures with ACDBE operators partnerships. And then for those companies that are ready to build out their own spaces in the terminal, there are opportunities for direct operators as well. We'll have more of these informational sessions, but if there's ever any questions about the various entry points, you can always email us directly at infot8@rfwconsultants.com. And now a word about certifications. The Port Authority offers a number of certification programs, two that are key to the commercial program at T8 are the ACDBE certification and the MWBE certification. ACDBE is the Airport Concessions Disadvantaged Business Enterprise. And the DBE program is based on the primary owner, the 51% owner of the company, qualifying as a disadvantaged individual. As long as they are part of one of those presumptive groups that are identified as socially and economically disadvantaged for DBE certification, they can also apply for Airport Concessions certification. That's a small business as defined by the Small Business Administration. The disadvantaged individual who owns the company must not have a personal net worth that's greater than 1.32 million, with some exclusions in that calculation. The owner must also show that they are disadvantaged, but also are able to control the daily operations of the company. And the owners must be a citizen or a lawfully admitted permanent resident to the United States. And for some merchants, the MWBE certification will be important. That's based on the at least 51% owner being a member of an identified minority group. They have to be in business for at least a year, and they must also be a citizen or a lawfully admitted permanent resident. The Port Authority certification team does a great job supporting all its applicants through the certification process. And you can email us directly if you ever have any questions about certifications or getting in touch with that certification team at the Port Authority. And now a word about additional resources. To start that certification program, you can always visit www.panynjsd, SD is for supplier diversity.com. There you'll find a link under apply for certification on the left. It explains the different certification programs. And then below that, there's a link in blue that'll connect you directly to the certification process. We have a certification analyst who's dedicated to the JFK redevelopment. That's Gloria Wigfall. Her email appears on the screen. She's available for assistance by appointment at our JFK Community Information Center. You can make an appointment with her. She's usually there on Thursdays. You can email her directly, and you can also contact, and I'll give you the address for the JFK Community Information Center. That's 144-33 Jamaica Avenue, very close to the AirTrain station by Sefton Boulevard, Jamaica 11434. The number there at the center, 718-244-3834. And again, as always, if you ever have any question about the commercial redevelopment project overall, contact us directly at infot8@rfwconsultants.com. Thank you. Back to you, Angela.
Thanks, Quentin. Finally, I'll turn it over to Diana Rose to tell you about all the great work that the Institute of Concessions is doing.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you again for having me. I believe this is my second presentation on the IOC. And again, truly an important project and program that we've launched. So just going to get right into it. Next slide. The JFK Airport Institute of Concession is an approximately 13-week training program that provides a gateway for local, diverse businesses to gain in-depth knowledge, understanding, and practice, and learn key competencies that are essential to successfully operating a concession at any Port Authority of New York, New Jersey facilities. And of course, this is an initial focus for JFK Airport. Graduates of the Institute will present to the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey and our partners as URW here today, as a pipeline of educated and curated businesses ready to competitively bid, and successfully operate a concession. And we do this in 3 ways: by providing a 3-prong approach to the program. So excitingly, we have launched the Learn portion of our 2023 inaugural IOC cohort. And the Learn portion covers 14 modules to 15 businesses. And again, we meet every Tuesday and Thursday from 2 to 5 p.m. And during the Learn portion is where we go over the competencies by subject matter experts. And then we have our practice portion is where we provide a mock RFP, and the teams are divided to complete a capstone presentation that responds to either a food and beverage or retail concession solicitation. And finally, we do have the live portion of the program where the graduates of the Institute will be selected to be paired up with terminal operators, developers, master concessionaires for exposure to day-to-day operations. Next slide. What can you expect from the IOC? Well, definitely you can expect an in-depth learning experience with subject matter experts, hands-on business mentoring, an RFP bid review, health and wellness coaching, and on-airport operations tour. And it is really important to highlight the opportunity to build legacy, as this is such a historic and monumentous opportunity through the JFK redevelopment. We want to curate local economic wealth, as this is a hyper local focused project opportunity to establish generational businesses and as well as build sustainable local community, because we know that small businesses are the bedrock of any successful and healthy community, and that's what we want to do through this program. Next slide. Oh, look at that. That is our 2023 inaugural cohort. And I'm excited to announce that I'm actually with the cohort right now, and I can quickly spin my camera. Everyone just say hi really quickly. We are with the cohort. We are live from the IOC. And that is our amazing 15 inaugural businesses that we have chosen to participate in this program. And again, we have been going over some amazing information, the competencies again to not only successfully bid and win concessions, but to thrive in the concession space on airside. Next slide. And if you want more information regarding our upcoming cohort or to ask us any questions, please visit our website at panyj.gov/institute-of-concessions, or you can send us an email at info.concessions@panyj.gov. Again, URW, thank you so much for the opportunity to speak about the IOC and to broadcast live from the Institute of Concessions. Thank you.
Thank you, Diana. We have an amazing partner in you, and we are so excited to hear that your first cohort is in place. So thank you. Now let's turn it over to Q&A. If you have a question, please place it into the question and answer box, and we will answer them as they come in. And we already have a question from Maria. Hi, Maria. Thanks for your question. The question is for Quentin. Do you have to apply for a certification before applying for this airport concessions opportunity?
Yes, that's recommended. It's can be a lengthy process, gathering the paperwork and supporting documentation, and then sometimes there's special cases through the process where you're working closely with the certification team to provide the proper documentation. Better that you are in the process to becoming certified before applying. And there's plenty of time for that. And so now is certainly the time to start that application.
Great. Thanks, Quentin. This next question is for Ashley. Ashley, are airport concessions, is bidding open for airport concessions, or if not now, then when will that be happening?
Yeah, so I love this question. We are close to releasing some bid opportunities for the TA concessions. What I would say is to kind of echo Quentin and what he just said. I think, look, explore the certifications, the certification processes, get that going, because it will support any type of business you want to do in the airport, whether it's today with us or in the future at a different program or project. And it does kind of work at any airport, right? It's not, the certifications are not just for JFK too. So we will be putting out some more public information soon on when to kind of expect any type of competitive packages. Retail will be separate than food and beverage. Food and beverage will be probably, I'm thinking, end of Q1 next year. Retail we may see come out before the end of this year. But again, make sure you're kind of following along. Feel free to look myself up on LinkedIn. I am posting any type of news or announcement that comes out about the project, including any type of bid opportunity. So we will be sure to share that, as well as at a new jfk.com as well.
Thanks, Ashley. This next question is for Diana. Diana, when is your next cohort? Does the cohort assist in getting the certification? I know you've got a lot of fans in this crowd.
Yay, we love it. So the next cohort will be announced shortly. I cannot give out that date just yet, but it will be relatively soon. So look out, again, follow our website for the launch of our next cohort, as well as the application opening date, the closing date, and when the next program IOC will start. In reference to ACDBE, hi Quentin. Just like Quentin had mentioned earlier, we are working with Gloria Wigfall as well, Port Authority ACDBE certification specialist. So we are encouraging all of our cohort who are not already certified to become certified, so we can assist in that process as well.
Great. Thanks, Diana. This next question is back to Ashley. Ashley, this individual is interested in knowing about the new concessions that are coming in at T8 to offer their retail product. How can they learn more about the process of trying to get retail product into the airport?
So a couple ways. Be on the lookout for more from us. We will be doing a product outreach session that is specific to this subject. I would as well follow the Port Authority, myself, URW, the Terminal 8 project, and all of our partners as well, because there are partners in the market who, Quentin mentioned, URW acts as a matchmaker in this sense with the product, right? And so we matchmake the end product with the retail units in the building who have the shelf space to support the products, right? And so when you're thinking travel essentials, Hudson Travel Essentials is a good example. And they are also doing their own set of kind of outreach activities to understand the market, what's available, who's out there. They want to know who you are. So again, once you get into this ecosystem of kind of following the project, the JFK redevelopment as a whole, you'll start to see more opportunities be flushed out. I will say this project for the commercial concessions opportunity is on the front end of many opportunities that are going to continue to come down the pipe. So we would love to have you kind of keep tabs on T8, as well as kind of what the future opportunities kind of look like behind that as well.
Great. Thanks, Ashley. This next question is for Quentin. How many years of operation in business is needed to apply for ACDBE certification? Is there a minimum? And if the requirements are met, does it mean it's possible to get the certification?
Sure. So unlike the MWBE, which requires that you're in business for a year, for ACDBE certification, you can form your company on Monday and apply for certification on Tuesday. So there's no requirement as far as for certification itself. There are some, depending on the opportunity that you're looking for in the commercial program, they do want to see some experience in selling in retail, that you have some track record in selling. But for the certification itself, there's no minimum as far as the length of time
Okay, great. Thanks, Quentin. And this next question, I believe, is for Diana. Diana, any suggestions on how someone can make their application to the IOC stand out?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So our previous application pool, we had a whopping 128 applications, and we do have to whittle that down to about 10 to 15 IOC participants or businesses. So it is really competitive and it's really exciting and hard at the same time. But I would say to one, be your authentic self. Two, ensure that the idea that you're proposing for a concession opportunity is realistic, and just do some homework in terms of what terminal developers are looking for concession opportunities. Again, we've had so many applications that it's really hard to find that perfect 10, even though we did, because they're all here, that perfect 15. But again, just be your authentic self and have some, as Quentin alluded to, have some experience in the game, because that's going to be really important realistically if you're vying for a opportunity at the airport.
Great. Thanks, Diana. Here's a follow-up question for Ashley. Ashley, eh, this individual is a multi-unit franchisee with many brands under their umbrella. How do they, what is a good barometer to decide what brands to put forth in a bid for Terminal 8?
So anytime we put a bid out, and if you're not familiar with bids, I'll try to explain at the most basic levels. But anytime we put a bid out for something specific, whether it's a package or a category or a mix of categories or brands, we will always share a more detailed look at who the passenger is, right? And we would ask you as the end user, kind of the owner of your brand per se, or the national brands, to submit what you think makes the most sense for that audience, right? And so, we as URW or developers, we have an idea of what we like to see, but we also want to hear from you as the experts with some of these brands as to why it fits the passenger demographic. So that is a big component of any type of competitive, RFP package, however you want to whatever you want to call it, is we will tell you more about the people in the terminal that are in that concourse or in that area to support or to garner the feedback and the brands that we would like to see, or we would like to be recommended why they're the right brands to consider.
Great. This thanks, Ashley. This next question is for Emily. Emily, what is the timeline for base building construction, and when will the tenant construction begin?
No, that's a great question. And we have a lot of different construction phases happening within the redevelopment here, with the last one kind of wrapping up towards the end of 2024 and possibly into 2020, early into 2025.
Great, thanks, Emily. This next question is for Ashley. Ashley, are there recommended sources or reports? I know this is very near and dear to Ashley's heart. The recommended sources or reports that can provide insights on airport consumer profiles in regards to demographics, income, et cetera. Or is there anyone on your team that we can connect with for follow-up? It's a great question, by the way.
Yeah, there it is. And in my former role, I was the marketing director for this program for many years. So to Angela's point, I have really looked at this very deeply. And so, you know, Google is your friend, right? In a lot of ways, there is publicized employment information on the Port Authority's website that's published every year, I think a month or two in the rears, and then a holistic kind of annual look. And so if I were a small business and I was interested in kind of learning more, I will say, this is like one of my favorite things to say. If you've been to one airport, you've been to one airport, right? Every airport is different. And I will even go as far as to say every terminal in every airport is most likely different, right? And so get into the weeds, right? If this were me, I would be getting into the weeds of gathering research. Who is flying out of Terminal 8? That information is all available online, right? Who are the airlines? Then you can cross-reference that with the Port Authority's employments that are posted on their website. It has the amount of people there. You can kind of cross-reference that with some demographic information, to really try to get a view as far as what the passenger looks like. And we have just about 15 airlines flying out of T8 right now. And so that is a really great number. T8 is one of my favorite terminals at JFK. Obviously, it's near and dear to my heart. I think it's a really great program. We cleared just under 4.5 million employments in 2022. We're expecting higher this year. And that would be my starting point, is to have that foundational understanding of who's flying out of there, how many people are flying through there, and then trying to put together some kind of demographic and shopping habits, spending habits. There's a lot of programs available, I think, online if you do the work and kind of get that foundation. And then, of course, anything that we would put out to market, we would give a much more fine-tuned version of that. And that's part of what we as a developer offer, is really that detailed look of who the passenger is, what brands they like, where they shop, how often they shop, what they're spending, right? This is kind of our where we come in and lean in with our support. And I will say, and then I'm done talking, Angela, I will say that, we do take that piece very seriously, that we are merchandising and branding for who is in Terminal 8. This is different than a street side, meaning we can't market to bring people through Terminal 8, right? The airlines are bringing these people through Terminal 8. So we are working with the customers that we have, and we are merchandising, is what the term that we use to bring brands forward. We are bringing the brands that those passengers look for, they seek, that are familiar, as well as, sprinkling in some local flavor and flair. But we can even look to the, what type of products they're buying and what type of beauty or health. And, so there's ways that we have. But each brand, I think, should be having a foundational knowledge and selecting based on that what terminal is of utmost interest to them, right? We want everybody to succeed. We don't want to set anybody up for failure, right? So that's very important to us and our partners.
Great. Thanks, Ashley. This next question is for Quentin. Quentin, a couple of questions have come in around funding for local small businesses who are looking to enter the airport space. What should they know, or where can they go for more resources, information about funding?
Yeah, I think there's a portion of the IOC, correct me if I'm wrong, Diana, where we're going to be talking about the challenges of funding. There are some community partners that are available to us as well. So look out for that. We're going to have some pointed information sessions coming up for concessions, and that'll certainly be one of the topics that'll be key. So we get a lot of questions about that.
Great. Thanks, Quentin. Diana, this next question is about the IOC. Does someone who's previously applied, do they need to reapply to be considered for the next cohort?
Yes. Yes, and kind of not yet, right? So if you applied and you were on a wait list, meaning based on our rubric criteria, you didn't make it for, let's say, volume, in terms of amount of transactions you have per month. If you made it within the scope of what we considered a passing applicant, you were emailed a waiting list opportunity for the next cohort. But if you did not, you will have to apply all over again.
Great. Thanks, Diana. This next question is for Ashley. Ashley, are businesses in Brooklyn able to participate in opportunities?
Certainly. Certainly. This local is, the surrounding airport areas, right? And we have different layers of local, but I would certainly say if you're in Brooklyn, you would, be able to apply for any offer that we put forward. And we would be happy to look at your application.
Yeah, and I'll just add that there's a priority for tier 1 and tier 2, which is Queens and Southeast Queens. But certainly, this is going to take a collective and collaborative effort to build out this commercial program. And so we want to, if you're interested, we want to hear from you directly by email or just going to the site and registering.
And
Absolutely.
Angela, I'd like to third that as well as for the IOC. As Quentin said as well, we are tier 1 focus, but also tier 2, tier 3. We as Rick Cotton would like to see a New York sense of place in JFK, and we also want to embody that through the IOC. So I third that.
Amazing. Thanks, Diana. Let's see. Sorry, I'm just looking through the rest of the questions. This question is for the group. Anyone feel free to take it. How can local small businesses and entrepreneurs market themselves, their services and their products to concessions developers?
Well, I'll start first, just to say, as with anything JFK redevelopment, go to newjfk.com, click on that Work With Us tab, go down to American Airlines Terminal 8, and you'll see a page where you can register your business. For what that does is connect you to opportunities, connects you to the different areas with URW. We can direct you according to your specialty, to your experience, to the opportunities that'll be a part of the commercial program. We're doing this remotely, but pretty soon we're going to have an in-person event as well. The lines will be very long around Ashley, I'm sure. Anyone with a URW tag, stop by, talk to them about your specialty, have your capability statement, ask them questions. I'm just so impressed by the volume of information that's coming out, that people are always asking me about when we do outreach. You're getting that now, and just keep your ears open and stay connected with us.
That's great advice, Quentin. And then one last question. Maybe I'll shoot this back over to you, Quentin. If a business is not chosen for the new program, what do you recommend is their path forward, or what should they do next?
Well, as awesome as the program is going to be at T8, that is just one of many concessions programs that will be offered through the JFK redevelopment, and it's the smallest, honestly. There are new opportunities opening up with Terminal 4, Terminal 6, and new Terminal 1 is the largest project of the JFK redevelopment. So I would say, as we're talking about getting prepared, stay prepared. Continue to develop your company profile, and stay connected with us. Ask those questions. As I said, there's information that's coming out. Hope you will listen closely to some of the tidbits that Ashley gave us. They are really there's information that's coming out that the community has been so hungry for, that you're seeing. So in short, lots of opportunities here at T8. More to come through the rest of the JFK redevelopment as well.
Great. Okay, this is our last question. One more. This one just came in. Since there are only 15 spots in the cohort, Diana, how many spots can be rolled over to the next cohort, or how many will the next cohort have?
So again, that is to be decided. A lot of it is based on the volume of applications we do have. Originally, during our outreach, we had slated for 10, but because of the um, number of applicants as well as those that were approved to move on to the next step or the final step, we had to increase that. So we won't know for another few weeks. But again, visit our website and you can get updated information regarding the next cohort, how many, who, what, where, when, and why.
And so look, I'd like to just say, you guys, we've presented a lot of information and we've been asked some really good questions. And this is a series of kind of outreach, touch points that we're planning to make. And we will continue this dialogue. The one or two kind of lasting thoughts is this is a marathon, everybody, right? This is not a sprint. Airports, they're public entities, they take time, there's a lot of people involved. And so just keep at it, right? This is theoretically the hard part, right? Is just being prepared, right? And so being prepared means using all the resources that are available to you. And there's so many good resources around the JFK project. How do you market your business? You need to be looking at this from a B2B, right? This is not a business B2C kind of hat that you should be wearing. So the easiest answer is get on the list that Quentin explained, right? That makes your business known to our partners right away, right? And Quentin just said there's many more projects than just Terminal 8 that potentially could open up the door for a lot of opportunities. So just make sure, I'm happy that nobody here has gotten scared off by kind of the umbrella of operating the airport, right? Because it's very different. It's very demanding. We expect to see you every single day of the year, right? That's very different than running your own business on the street. And so make sure it's for you, right? Think through all these things. I know the opportunities sound exciting, but think through these things. Does this work for my kind of trajectory for my business? Do I need to pivot to support this? Do I want to pivot to support this, right? So now is the time to be really thinking through the details, right? We're starting to provide more details and we're more in the weeds with this. And just getting out there, attending events, talking to as many people as you can. You learn something every time you're at an event and you speak with somebody, right? And so get on the list. You'll hear from us when things are available. Certainly we will put that out to the community. There won't be anything that happens that's not publicly put out for this type of offer. And so just hang in there, right? It's a marathon, it's not a sprint. And we are looking forward to kind of continuing this conversation and providing more information and meeting people in the community.
Thanks, Ashley. That's a great final thought. And before we sign off, I want to thank all of our panelists today for joining us. And also a huge thank you to all of you who attended. Thank you for your wonderful questions. I'd also like to take a look at what we have coming up over the next several months. Our next concessions focus sessions, which with dates will be announced very soon, as Quentin mentioned. We are looking at doing some in-person events very shortly as well. Those will be focused on airport business planning basics. So that is for those of you who are looking to learn more about preparing for airport entry. If you found today's session informative and valuable, I highly encourage you to stay tuned for the date of this next one as well. Later on this year, we're excited to kick off our Local Business Enterprise LBE Accelerator Series. That is for those of you who will be looking to apply for the program later this year or early next. And then for those of you who are interested in other opportunities at T8, that includes construction, architecture and engineering, professional services, or even future hiring opportunities at the terminal, know that we will have plenty of opportunities for you as well. So remember to visit www.anewjfk.com or scan the QR code, navigate over to the Work With Us and Terminal 8 project page so you can sign up to receive news and opportunities. If you're attending this event, it's likely that you're already on our list, which is great. So thank you, everyone, once again, and we hope to see you next time. Have a wonderful evening.